Hi, I'm Alan Nelson. Welcome to Young Leader Feeder. In this session, I'd like to introduce you to an important leader quality of emotional intelligence called self-motivation. In session 101, we talked about self-awareness. In session 102, we explained the ability to control one's own behavior in spite of your emotional state. But in this session, we'll look at the third of 5 keys to a leader's emotional intelligence. According to Harvard professor Daniel Goleman, the third part of emotional intelligence is self-motivation. Although leaders tend to be personally motivated in terms of pursuing goals, such as taking charge when needed and sacrificing for the sake of the team, the aspect of self-motivation has to do with personal improvement. Examples of low emotional intelligence in leaders are when they don't care what others think of them, when they are aloof to their own inadequacies even when brought to their attention, and when they dismiss feedback by defensiveness or dishonoring someone else. So this is the irony. An indicator of EQ is actually the desire to improve one's EQ, such that strong EQ leaders get better, and low EQ leaders often remain low and experience problems because of it. A leader's self-motivation and EQ shows up in 3 areas. Number 1, a leader pursues feedback. No one is fully aware of how he or she is coming across. Therefore, it's important to get the perspective of others. Think about a mirror. We look in a mirror to make sure our hair looks decent, that there's nothing weird stuck in our teeth, and perhaps to check our makeup. A leader uses feedback as a mirror to see things that need to be changed. Companies often use surveys called 360s, providing feedback from people a leader reports to as well as peers and team members. They're called 360s because there are 360 degrees in a complete circle. Number 2, a leader accepts feedback when it's given. Even when a high EQ leader isn't seeking feedback, she thanks the person and considers what is said. Those with low EQ tend to reject the information and respond defensively, either dishonoring the feedback giver, such as saying he's crazy, or just brushing off the info as worthless. Embracing feedback doesn't mean you always rely on it, but that you consider it first. Sometimes it's merely a perception, but perceptions are important because people respond to them. So it will affect their behavior, and that's of interest to leaders. And number 3, a leader strives to make changes based on the feedback. When a leader seeks and receives feedback, high EQ leaders strive to improve. This doesn't mean that everything people think is true, but it can provide an opportunity to get better, as well as giving others the impression that you're humble and interested in improving. This improves how people think of you and improves trust. That is important for leading. Motivation to improve personally is a symptom of high emotional intelligence. So consider these ideas when it comes to how you seek and what you do with the feedback on how others see you as a leader. Even though you're still maturing emotionally as a young leader, understanding and working on these principles are very important for you to be taken seriously by peers and adults. In the 4th session of this 5-part mini-series, I'll explain the aspect of emotional leadership that involves an awareness of what others are feeling. It requires an even higher level of what constitutes emotional intelligence, an important quality of strong, effective leaders.